Good morning. Today is Monday, June 15th. I'm Terry Haas, pastor of Tuscola United Methodist Church, and welcome to our daily devotional. This week, we're going to have some very short, but I hope very powerful devotions on a topic that I probably get asked about more than any other. And that topic is, how do I pray? How do I become a better prayer warrior? We hear that expression all the time. I like what Betsy DeCruz says in her Crosswalk article. She says, "Are prayer wimps a thing? Because sometimes I feel like more of a prayer wimp." And I recognize what she says. How often have you sat down to pray and found yourself unable to focus? Your mind dances around to that to-do list you have to do, or you try to fall, or you're laying down in bed and you fall asleep before you get to pray. Prayer, we know, carries power and changes life. Prayer is an amazing privilege, but sometimes we struggle with what is a prayer and what is not a prayer. And so, what we're going to be looking through this week is some of these calls to prayer, such as Jeremiah 33:3. "Call to me, and I will answer you." Well, my goodness, when you hear that, it seems amazing that we ever stop praying. And yet we do. Jeremiah 29:12, "You will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you." This is an amazing, amazing process. So I guess the question is, why aren't we doing it more? And why do we feel awkward sometimes when we do it, or we just don't feel that it works? Well, it's a possibility that we are over spiritualizing it. We think that for a prayer to be powerful and meaningful, we have to spend hours writing it and making sure the words are perfect. Do you know, I can ask people in a church to do just about any job and somebody will do it. Clean toilets, somebody's there. Mow the lawn, many of you are there. Take care of kids, oh, a lot of you are there. If I ask someone to pray out loud, immediately hands go down, faces go still, nobody's making eye contact. People are afraid to pray out loud because they think, well, I don't have these big, powerful, eloquent prayers. And they measure themselves against people who do, the Billy Grahams of the world who could pray these amazing prayers. But we forget, God knows that we are not always these amazing, eloquent people. We have to realize God knows us inside and out, and God knows where our strengths are. If we did suddenly start spouting these eloquent prayers, God would say, "That's not you. Stop that." So, Colossians 4:2 tells us to devote ourselves to prayer, being watchful and thankful. And so we're going to talk this week about small ways that we can devote ourselves to prayer, to a time of never-ending prayer, which doesn't mean that you're constantly praying to God and not getting anything else done, but it's the attitude that we have in our hearts. A devoted heart turns to God in prayer every day. So, the first practical tip on how to pray that we will look at today is this. We might think we have to pray passionate, persuasive words for God to hear us, but in reality, God listens to even our shortest prayers. Have you noticed that? Sometimes I actually find it easier to hear God's speaking back to me when I use these short, very specific prayers, such as when we do the prayer walk labyrinth. There's very often, I advise people to say a prayer as they go in that's very short. And one way to do that is to simply pray scripture. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. That's one of my favorites. If it was good enough for the thief at the cross, it's certainly good enough for me. So if we do that, that will allow us to pray many times throughout the day, just those constant, quick conversations. Perhaps it's scripture. Perhaps for you, it's the words of your heart. And the words of your heart aren't always deep and eloquent. Sometimes the words of your heart are raw and short. A prayer such as, "Heal my child," or "Lord, give me strength for today," or "Lord, I love you." Those are powerful prayers. Have a great day, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.